starts as a solo artist, which then we collaborate on. That's fine. I mean, we do that with Shakespeare, we do that with dead playwrights. But what about a living playwright?
Well, why shouldn't a living playwright have the same rights that Ibsen or Shakespeare has? Just because Hedda Gabler...
Shakespeare and Ibsen probably had a lot of collaboration with their directors also.
There are still problems with Hedda Gabler, and an actress comes to the role and she says, oh, well, Hedda Gabler, 300 actresses before me has made it work, fine. And then some jerk comes up to me who's an actor and he goes, I can't quite get this to work, why don't you change it? I mean, that's just bullshit.
One day I was talking to a colleague of mine, Lanford Wilson, and he said to me, you know, I feel, as a playwright, I feel like a woman, the way women feel when, like, a guy is taking them for a date, and the guy says, don't worry, honey, I'm going to show you a good time, I'm going to take you to a good restaurant. And they never say, what kind of food do you like? Or I want to take you, but what do you like? Don't worry, I'm going to take care of you.
Because people do that, you know, they feel like we'll just make them brown and give them some Spanish names, and then we'll see a lot about their culture. This one does that to a certain extent, but the characters are real. They're real folks you believe.
They each read the script twice, so there will be 2 out of the 6 jury members who will read each script. From that, then we have our meeting, we discuss it, and then the scripts are read 2 more times by both Ruben Sierra, the artistic director, and myself. So a script before it's finally selected to go into the festival probably goes through 5 readings. I don't want to tell them that the play has to be a great social statement. I don't want to tell them it has to be about what it's like to be black or what it's like to be Chicano. I think that's limiting the voice of a playwright.
You know, what was most disappointing about this whole experience was so many of these plays were not about developing a voice. I mean, it was about trying to get a play produced. And it was so depressing to see them trying to write for what they think theaters want instead of trying to discover something inside themselves. And
there's a real lack of wanting to produce plays, especially new plays. You know, last year in New York, one new American play was done on Broadway. 1.
90% of all plays produced in the last 3 years have been all white casts. I mean, 90%, that means that of those other 10%, they probably weren't all black or all Chicano or something. I mean, there may have been one person, and that's what the statistic is about. You know, within that percentage, then there's even a smaller amount that are dealing with a writer who's probably of an ethnic background that is doing their plays. So these voices in this festival are unique. They're not heard from much.
Hello?
Hello, Bill. This is Tim Bond calling from the Group Theater Company. I'm calling to inform you that Sneaky has been chosen as a final. All great playwrights have, one of the things they have is an ear both for dialogue and what they're writing, and an ear for how people are reacting to it and are able to incorporate that into their work, which is a difficult job because there's the other side of the coin where you've got all these people jerking you around, telling you, no, you got to write it this way, you got to write it that way, and they're all trying to write your play for you.
There is a sense that if you choose to workshop a play, that means that something needs to be done with it. Otherwise, we would produce it. And you get into that sense, then you come in, and if you feel that nothing major needs to be, even if everybody kind of in general may feel that nothing major needs to be done with it, they said, well, you're here, and we're here, and everybody's here, so let's do something with it.
Playwrights can be very egotistical in that, no, I won't change. But when you have that stance, I believe that you're selling yourself out, you're cheating yourself out. Because part of growth is you give it to someone, you share it with someone, they too will make a contribution, and you've got to be strong enough and human enough as a person to accept that change or whatever they want to give you.
The danger that I see in the process for me is maybe I will lose parts of Sagittarius that's right. You know, I don't know if that's bad or good. It's just it feels right. You know, because I'm right now in a state where everything is up for grabs. You know, I just decided, okay, I'm gonna like rip it apart, and I went through a night where I had no play in my mind. At the top of the play, 1, the play is composed of 2 converging threads. There is the main action of the play and the commentary or choral sections. What I aim for is a blending of both sections to create resonances. The juxtaposition is a main ingredient in the vision of the whole. The Jug actress is on stage as the audience enters the space. The lights dim. Stage black. Gunshot. A man screams. Saying it in front of a group of people is different because all of a sudden they're listening, and so you just go, okay. I made some on-the-spot changes, things that I knew didn't feel right or didn't sound right, and I kept those changes. Later, there's so much we have to talk about. You know, you're in the spot. You received my last letter. It's your work. Yes. You present it your way. That's actually that would be the best part about it, is because you get to present it exactly the way you hear it. Yes, Jug. That's how they treat you.
You'll be like Cinderella at the ball.
And you know, in America, they do things differently. When you're 18 years old, they tell you to move out of the house.
Forever, happily ever after.
Jug, I'm scared. Don't be scared. I'll always be here to protect you. Jug looks at both of them, trying to decide whom to turn to. I am not a witch. I know. I mean, I was glad my director was there, because then he got to see, or he got to hear the way I would do it. Then again, that doesn't mean that he'll have to do it that way. That's the flip side. But at least I know he heard it. Or they'll drag you into the mud. Your mother and I, we were two alike, like 2 panthers locked in a cage. Blackout.
There has to be some kind of responsibility and honesty you have to have with your work, because no one else will do it for you. And if someone else does it for you, it will never be right.
And you are?
And I am Noel, and I'm the grandmother. Sneaky, I guess.
You're the grandmother of Sneaky. Yes.
I'm Mark Bochecker, I'm playing Jack.
I'm John Kay, playing Frank. I'm Billy, playing the character of Kermit.
Okay, and I'm Kathleen Spalding, and I'm playing the character of your stage manager.
Sneaky has been the crux of a lot of my work, simply because of the fact the 3 brothers are based apart, are a different part of my life, or something I experienced during my life. Kermit the drunk, the alcoholic, was my life as an alcoholic. Eldon was my life when I was in college, my first 2 years in college. And Frank is pretty much what I'm like today in a way.
And this is the only way they have to move on, is to laugh.
That's interesting. Yeah, well, for me anyway, I mean, it would be dishonest for me to say that I know anything about the Native American culture from which the play arose. But part of the process of working on the play for me has been one of really letting go whatever assumptions I had of what makes a good play or how a play works. And that's just something that I would recommend for you too in the next 5 days.
Okay, if we have a line change, we're going to write it on this chalkboard, and there it'll be, look at it, write it down, put it in your script. And then as days go by, we'll be typing out lists of changes too for you to keep as a record.
So is everyone transferring and transforming here?
All these marks.
I know, we got 3 marks. Can you believe that?
Is there anyone who's
the other one?
rehearsal schedule?
The little rings in front of you obviously are so that you can put it through your script at some point. Eventually, everyone sort of prefers the 1 ring system for having scripts, because you can flip it over pretty easy and hold it in your hand. And, the key really to the workshop process, I think, is everything we will be doing will be to serve the playwrights' needs in terms of getting a feeling for the text. We will not be cutting things because we can't say them or because it doesn't work. We'll try and make it work, and then it's up to Kermit to where it goes. Certainly, I think we should have input, and we should work collaboratively and give our ideas back and forth. But the key is not to make a great production, it's to get at the text and to make sense of it. Also, I'll just say in terms of approaching it, every time I've asked Kermit about, well, is this line, should we shade it this way, or should we show that there's this incredible subtext underneath and all that, I'm feeling my approach is going to be at this point is to play everything on the nose.
to play it within the situation, to play it moment to moment, and not try and come in with all this manipulation or knowing what's coming up next so that you're foreshadowing or setting it up. Kermit does that in the writing. It's there. So really what you got to do is just play the scene.
Ray's on the porch, a cigarette in hand, looking out at the sea. 29-year-old white man, dressed in cutoffs, perfectly still. Takes a long pause, then he takes a drag on his cigarette.
Dancing cows.
What we're trying to do here is draw out of the playwright their voice, draw out of them what their vision is, without destroying what they originally intended to do.
Here are those images of you being out on the streets.
Working with the Filipino cast, I found that we had to work on very different things. With the American cast, I always had to keep telling them, find a vulnerability, be vulnerable. With the Filipino cast, it was finding the viciousness. It's like from the top, they hooked into the vulnerability of it. And I saw, what I did is I saw what a different group of people would do with the play.
Reaches a climax, the Corey reaches a climax, the lights will go off.
Bayan! Corey! Corey! Hey, Juan, join us! Join us!
Oh, ano? Mga kabayan!
Kabayan! Sister, Padre, kumusta ka?
Okay, freeze. All right, the tanks are rolling around the streets. You need to stop them. As soon as I say, go. Go.
Oh, it's okay. Stop.
Boy! Stick together, stick together.
Boy!
Join together.
Oh, kamusta mama mo? Ha? Oh, sige.
Kabayan! Just stay behind us, stay behind us!
Sige.
Freeze. The only way you can stop them is through prayer, connection, and love. Go.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread and forgive us our trespasses. Those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, glory, forever.
What do you think, Mr. Frazer?
It's just nice to hear other people besides myself read it, kind of, so I can sit back and listen to what might be some of the problems and what might be working well. So,
Only notes I kept writing in next to certain sections was basically drive it through quicker and don't think so much. It's just in general, and I know we're finding our way through it, but I think just read it, just crank through it, let it fly, let it come at you moment to moment, and it's going to work. If you start thinking about it and analyzing and going, oh right, this line has this under it too, it starts reading like that, and it's weird that way. It's a strange because it's all there. It's all there. So I think that's the trick. That's the key. Keeping it going. And when it was happening like that today, it was really fast.
Wait, do we have an actor-proof script? My God. No.
My grandmother was around during the time of 1887, 1889. We were on the Fort Peck Indian Reservation. We did have a huge winter, and a lot of people died. And as a girl, she remembered the vision of a badger coming out from under a grave with a human hand in its mouth. And this image had really struck her when she was young and stayed with her. And even when she died, she requested that the coffin be of some kind of metal rather than wood. It was images like this that came into making Sneaky.
There's a whole bit where we don't talk. Pray over the road, pray over the puppy, and then you come back. Grandson, we eat puppy. So right in there, maybe we should make a little notation for you, that you have some action with no words. Right in. Don't bother me now. Yeah. Maybe we should write it in different colors. Well, we're just trying to recall it here. Don't bother me now. Get off chair. You guys are doing so much better than yesterday, really. Looking at each other, and it sounds like real people talking. Great. Okay, let's go back to I loved my puppy.
I love my puppy. And I do too. You will enjoy its warm, juicy meat in your belly.
It just takes a while to get into it. So maybe once we start working, then that'll come. Then they'll see the weaknesses and the flaws. I mean, I'm not sure. At this point, I'm even confused about exactly what it is, you know?
No! I mean, you had it right here. Say it. Stop it. Don't stop those impulses. Let them come.
Right. So I'm saying.
But you still have a lot of pull back and forth. Let's take it from the start again, because the subject is right there.
I thought you had more integrity. You used to talk so big. Well, I don't see it.
Enough, Missy! I've done what I can, and I'm doing what I can. But in order to be effective in the movement, I have to do my job.
Let's take that moment again. So, enough, Mitzi, is not a yell, shut up, bitch. It's enough, Mitzi. This hurts. It's enough. Said enough. And you have, it's an attack from somebody you love. Let's take it from Mencey's line. Why was it when Phil died at his funeral, everyone was so concerned? It's the middle of page 55.
Why didn't anyone ever ask me how I felt? Why were they so concerned about how the mother was reacting? I had his child. I ate with him. I slept with him. I went through his tantrums with him. I was carrying his second child. How could he have been sure of that?
Rosario, be careful of what you're saying.
She doesn't mean any of this.
She's just getting a little excited. I'd better get you your
No. I know exactly what you're saying. You want to know the truth? You think I slept with the boss. You think I slept with the gardener. Well, I have news for you.
Okay, let's try that once more. And Mency, that was almost right. First of all, I said, I better get you your pills. Calm down, Rosario, okay? And then you need to come right in on top. No! Okay? I know exactly what you're doing. One more time, in the same place.
Why didn't anyone ever ask how I felt? Why are they so concerned about how the mother was reacting? I had his child. I ate with him. I slept with him. I went through his tantrums with him. I was carrying his second child.
You were aware of that, Nancy?
For 25 years.
I'd better get you your pills.
No. I know exactly what you're saying.
Okay, one more time. Don't hesitate. I can't believe it. It's just very simple shot, okay? Don't stutter on it. I can't believe it. We need to work out that slap. It's different now. You're both standing, and you can't come to that slap before she finishes her lines. Okay? Why don't we just do that? Okay.
You want to hear me say it? I didn't sleep with just your son. I slept with 10 men. No! I didn't sleep with 10 men. I slept with 100,000, and I fucked them. No!
Go lights.
No! I couldn't move. Everyone was shocked. Us. Them. They said it was an accident. An accident!
Okay, let's stop. Let's go back and do that moment once again. And those lines still need to come in, so you're delayed. So if you just have that line, it comes in. She's coming with us, and it's got to come out quick, fast, so that she doesn't get to her before you...
You have to trust your judgment. If you continually let people call to question what you've written because of what they feel about the play, then you just really write yourself into circles, and you write yourself out of the play. I mean, the play becomes nothing to you.
Even dangerous about one sense not quite being in tune with another. A kind of disorientation, a kind of disjunction that feels electric.
Couldn't you have such a feeling on an American beach?
Yeah, I guess. But the air is so much fresher here, more open to real possibility.
Just be sure to keep such real possibility to yourself. You didn't tell me he was black, your American friend.
So?
Just an observation. Do you trust him?
Look, he's not CIA or anything, if that's what you mean.
How do you know?
All the characters are integral to each other, and so once you start dealing with one part of it, the other parts come into play too. The character that has been most difficult to define is the character of Mark, because he's a different kind of character. He's less active, he's more internalized. And so the rewrites have all been to make the connection between himself and the other characters in the play, and also the story, clearer.
At the top of 92, you have to add Ellen's line, "It was them." Top.
92. What's that, them?
Adding.
At the top of 92, add a line, it's
So Mark does become a lot stronger in here then about his opinions about. That's good. I like this. Good story, yes.
Because of that, we don't get.
It's a shock.
Yeah.
And that O needs to come out on the explanation of air that you've taken in while you've gotten this thing skewered up you. Ooh. Let it rock you. Let it overplay it. Play it too far. I bet you can't. And then move with it somewhere in here as you're trying to get it under control. And as you get into, what do you think? My cousin, again, that wells it up. And then let the speech just propel. Don't think. Feel. This is one that's emotional. Let's take this scene again. So I think there's so some of this stuff comes from a different place now.
Yeah.
A more painful, troubled side. Wow, starts to reveal itself.
You went in just for him? Just for that?
No. I was also scared. We all make choices, don't we? For whatever reason. It's just a matter of when and where and how damaging to your soul. You didn't start that ROTC building fire. He was in there to put it out.
Well, I'm listening for something different, first of all, something that I haven't thought about already. And also, really, I want to hear, exactly hear, and not have to be worried about writing while I'm listening.
I've taken out a very visual image and substitute with something written. And the visual image was a lot stronger. There's the Our Father prayer that the two brothers do, Eldon and Kermit. And when I first wrote it, it was in the very first draft of when I wrote it. And it was a very comical piece. But I sacrificed it to just move it along, move the play along. And I regretted it.
Both of them have been gone for a long time now. But now they're here. Please listen to their voices, and you'll see their hearts. Amen.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy kingdom come.
Does it have to be done?
Does it have to be done on earth as it is in heaven? Give us our day.
Part of the thing that the script asks for is that there be coordination of every single part theatrically, just as much as using sound and lights. It's another character in the play. It takes knowledge about two different styles of theater to make it work this way. It's one of the reasons you're seeing 3 directors out there now.
In that speech, but the overall push is good.
Okay, so we got Manuel there.
Manuel, maybe he shouldn't be.
Shirt, and so we lose the museum effect if he's doing that. So we got to do.
Well, unless they come up individually.
And then we got a problem because when Mike's down here, the spot, basically, if we want your spots coming up and down.
Not down, just up.
Just up. You've got individual control, and I've moved these lights that light this spot down here are now up in the aisle.
Yeah, but Mike doesn't need to be lit there, it's really her.
You move this one
It's
up
her
in the
light.
aisle?
If you want to light up there, then the light that's lighting this spot right now is
Can
going
we
to
use
go
this
up in the
light
aisle.
through it that you've got?
It's not a matter of instruments, Larry, it's a matter of dimmers.
But we still need the
If we-
flags lit on one,
Right,
that's one of them.
but if we keep the 5 spots that we have, add the flags, add the chair, that's all
That's
of the
it.
7 dimmers. She just wanted to determine if you still
Oh, we
want.
still got that one, don't we?
Right.
So you haven't lost
Okay.
anything.
Okay, but she was on the
Fine.
understanding of wanting 3 flags, so that
Right.
was cleared up.
Yeah, we understand.
Answer that question.
Okay, take it from Mike's lines then, I guess.
Due in part to the volatile combination of the basic social inequality plus an upwardly spiraling population rate.
It was a government-sponsored terrorism. All the bombings were part of the plan to genocide people control the nation.
Forces were
Communism in the
active
Philippines
combat.
is a homegrown indigenous
The Communist
revolution.
New People's Army.
It wasn't a problem
While at the
until
same
Marcos
time
decided to make it a
battling
problem.
among the-
They cared about very basic things.
Sagittarius is in a new growth stage. What happened is they came into it not all knowing exactly just how intense it was going to be and how fast the creative process has to work. And what happened was, after the first week of performances, everyone went, wait a minute, I think we're going in some of the wrong ways. Or the playwright going, now I know why the choral sequences don't work. I need to really go back and write them more musically and realizing the things that she hadn't communicated in the script that she needed to. And the second week, we had a chance to go back and get into it. And the success about it is that, we could have done all that and just been digging ourselves deeper, easy. But what happened was we actually keyed into some good things, and we didn't panic, and people didn't get testy, and the technicians were there on call to come in and retech the show, and the actors got new pages and got through it in performance, and the playwright got a chance to experiment. So out of this whirlwind of activity and growth, I think, is come to a point now where Maria knows what she needs to do and where she needs to go.
Hey, she took some out, man. These pants fit great. Tim may never get these back.
Those are great pants.
Today is the opening day of the 3rd annual American Minority Playwrights Festival. So thank you again for all coming. Enjoy the show.
It's been called the American Minority Playwrights Festival for the last 3 years. But as we've gone on as a company, we decided that term was a negative. You're already a minority. You're already lesser than. I mean, I looked it up in the dictionary and I said, I don't like this word. And so I kept looking for terms. We'll call it multicultural. And I said, I don't want to label it. We're people. I mean, we are who we are.
Ayat skiwtans yayin wetam Ayat skiwtans yayin wetam Aslan khasat la kewtan